And since this project is an important joint initiative of two very dedicated partners dedicated to climate innovations and to green progress, I would like to, first of all, um, applaud to the EU and the EBRD. These are the ones who have created this coalition and collaboration that we are engaged in. And secondly, let me give the floor now to the people who are actually making this project possible from the point of view of its global strategy of development. And now it's a pleasure for me to give the floor online to Konstantin Kinsurashvili, the CSRD regional lead in EEC EBRD. Konstantin, glory to heroes. Well, sorry, I've switched to English. Sorry for that. So it's my pleasure to invite Henrik Wittfeldt, who is the acting head of operations section, economic cooperation, energy, infrastructure, and environment, EU delegation to Ukraine. Well, thank you for reminding me because otherwise I would speak English during the whole ceremony. So please, you're welcome.
for me to be here. So, and also want to like to thank the EBRD and Green Incubator for organizing this and for implementing the project on our behalf, which I think it's really important to bring your creativity together in something like this. So thanks. So as you all know, the Green Deal is at the core of the European Commission's work in the last years, and climate innovation or environment innovation, green innovation is a really important part of really moving into a different society, which are more climate sustainable and environmental sustainable in general. So that's why we have developed in the Commission the Green Deal and are now implementing it in many different fronts. And I really, in that sense, I see what we're doing here with you on the Climate Innovation Vouchers fit very nicely into that pictures, because it is driving innovation and also seeing how you here in Ukraine can link up, bring your innovations, your creativity to the European markets, and finding partners in the EU that you will be able to work with in the future. And so we will. So that's I'm really happy to see today. So of course, the Russia's war or Russian full-scale invasion of Ukraine is bringing a lot of challenges, both from an economic, social, poverty, environmental point of view. So in that respect, we are standing with Ukraine, and as you know, probably very recently we have adopted the Ukraine facility with 50 billion of euro support for Ukraine, which major part of that will be invested through our international partners in international financing, financial institutions like the EBRD, which will bring important opportunities for Ukrainian actors to access to finance and access to other kind of European measures. And it is a strong link between innovation, investments, and policies that we are working on. So these are really a big. What you are doing is a part of the overall agenda. So I really want to end saying that we in this difficult situation will see the small enterprises that you are representing as the driver for the future, and we will continue supporting you and hoping that see many of you in different events and in different circumstances, also with European partners and in European events in the future. So thanks a lot, and I'm really looking forward to having a nice and entertaining evening together with you.
Thank you very much. Дякую дуже, Генрік. Дякую дуже всім.
Thank you, Henrik. Thanks a lot to all our colleagues from the EU for the fact that this business is going on, is moving forward. And let me tell you a couple of words about the project, Climate Innovation Vouchers. The project, which is in the heart of green innovations, since, well, here is also my photo in the tie, suit and tie. Thank you, colleagues, for finding such a picture. So just a couple of key things. So 2017, this is the year when the
запускає програму
EBRD
Україна стає першою країною, ця програма стартує. Пізніше інноваційні ваучери.
The program of innovation vouchers. And it was in several countries, but it was the largest program supporting development of climate innovations in Ukraine back then. In 2020, we repeatedly signed a contract for the administration of this project with a further opportunity
зокрема дослідження
for its geographical replication, in particular the study of the opportunities for introducing Georgia and Belarus into the program. But Belarus took a different path. That's why Ukraine is now the only country out of the countries belonging to Eastern Neighborhood Partnership that has got this program. And now within the second phase, this is the third wave, and we are going to boast. Now, because we like boasting, and the alumni of our previous waves know that we always keep asking them about their achievements to boast of. So it was only last year that the alumni of Climate Innovation Vouchers raised more than 11 million euros. It was the funding from institutional venture and European donors. We are very happy about Relief and Carbon Miner because they managed to engage more than 9 million euros. This is the funding provided by the European Innovation Council. This is an extremely pleasant fact for us. This is a real breakthrough, and this is another reason to be happy about the companies coming into this project. In the heart of a lot of technologies in the markets of the US, Sweden, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Canada, Japan, um, the components funded by the Climate Innovation Vouchers program, electric bicycles, charging stations, recuperators of air, systems of corporate energy efficiency, and a lot of other products have in their heart the innovation that was funded within this program. Grants under 50,000 euros, and they have been invested in a very focused way, and we are very happy to see many companies that are developing in this respect, reaching new markets. And over the recent couple of years, because we are now in MacPo space, so this is the company um, created by MacPo. This is the space created by MacPo, and the basis for that is Savarkar Venture Investment Fund. During the previous award ceremony, one of the panelists was his managing partner, Vlad. So SMRCAR is the company that has really already invested into our alumni more than $1 million, according to the data we have. And one investment took place last year, which is the year of war. So we are happy that Ukrainian companies keep moving forward in the right direction, and we're happy to have something to do with the creation of those multipliers and for creating the opportunities for moving forward, for further development, and for reaching new orbits. So we are very proud of this fact. We are very proud of having joined work with the EU and the EBRD, and we are happy about the Green Incubator norm work. And you know that they are celebrating their 15th anniversary now. And we are happy about the work of our team with all our grantees. And now let me give the floor, well, unfortunately online, to a very important person within this project. He used to be the co-facilitator of that stage last time, and now let me invite the project coordinator of Climate Innovation Vouchers, Olha Zubchik. And while I'm entitled the head of the projects, Olha is actually the person who is really working on all technical issues and beneficiaries. Olha, can you hear me? So, whom Ola did give a call last week or this week. So you can see that she's been giving calls to everyone on regular basis. So do you hear me, Olha? Yes, I can hear you very well. So the floor is yours. I hope that you can hear me as well. Yeah, see and hear. And thank you for such a nice introduction. I'm happy to be here, though online, but you know, things happen. So my greetings go to all colleagues, to all partners, to our dear beneficiaries. So I'm really happy that we have this chance to look for and find talented young businesses that can be supported thanks to the EU and to the EBRD, which are our donors. We are so much grateful to you for that. And inside our team, we quite often call that we are gold miners. Um, well, that is a kind of our internal glossary. So we are happy that we can really find this gold. And today we are ready to once again present our green champions and congratulate them on their victory and winning. And I'm personally grateful to you for keeping us inspired. Go on with that. Keep working. Inspire yourselves, inspire us, and it's always a pleasure for us to be a part of your success. And as Roman says inside our team, we will always keep approaching you. We will be tough on you, but we will be happy both about your success and achievements and make all the partners happy about that. And I'm really sorry that I'm not staying physically with you today. Let's hope that the next ceremony will already be with you and we will have no air alarms applications. We will forget about all those security protocols. Thank you, Olha. This is an incredible team effort, and I would like to express my gratitude to the whole team and share another secret. Okay, Olha, I will just make a hint. So now we have another um, batch of very interesting stories of Ukrainian innovators, and in just some short time, we will tell about it to you and to the whole world. But now, Oля, do you think we are ready to tell about the winners of this phase? I think we are always ready for that. But the audience is staying so much silent. They are not applauding. They are not showing that they want to hear this information. Great. So we've got 10 companies that will get the vouchers, and the total value is 428, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right, Olha? Because I don't remember the exact figure. So 400 something thousand euros of grants for absolutely different industrial designations and intellectual property protection projects. And we will now um, name those companies, but then we will have the press release. But you who are in this room and at this
І відповідно ми розбили їх на 6 груп
broadcast will be the first to learn their
в
names.
декількох секторах. І ми
So we have
почнемо
several
з
sectors, and we will
першого
start
сектора. Ми будемо
with
запрошувати
sector
вас
number
до
one, and we will
поділитися
invite
кількома
you to
словами
the restroom, and we will
стосовно
ask you to
цікавих
share
історій, які
your
відбуваються навколо
presentations
due
and
diligence,
to
які
tell the
питання ви
truth on
розглядаєте,
how Green
і з ким ви
Kubate
міряєте з
the
нашими
due diligence, what
аналітиками.
questions
Але
that they asked, and how
багато того
difficult it was
тривало.
for you to cope with
Отже,
all of our tables. But I think
зараз
it was worth
ми
the effort.
почнемо з
So
першого блоку,
let's
першої
start with
компанії
block
в
number
надзвичайно
one,
важливому сегменті,
two
який називається
companies and a very
промислова
important segment which is
автоматизація.
called
Я прошу
industrial
вивести
automation.
слайдик промислової
And I will
автоматизації, але я
ask
забув
to share
насправді
the
адміністратор
slide
з цього
on
слайду,
industrial
тому я буду
automation,
вмикати
but
дякую.
actually it's me who is
А,
going to manage and to click the
ось
slides. Thank you. I've
Industrial
just forgotten
Automation.
about that.
Промислова
Yes, so this
автоматизація.
is
Дуже
industrial
багато речей в
automation.
нашому житті, від того, чи
And
не скисне
really, a lot
молоко
of
в
things
нашому
in our
холодильнику, до
lives,
того,
starting with whether our milk gets
наскільки
sour
смачною буде,
and up
наскільки
to how
смачною буде
tasty
відбивна в
some dish
американській
is going to
кухні в
be,
супермаркеті, це
some
не
meat that you
вибір процесу.
cooked meat that you
Звичайно,
buy in the
прості
supermarket.
складники
It all depends on invisible
і в секторі
processes that
промислової автоматизації
become the
ми
basis of
сьогодні
everything.
вітаємо
So
дві
within the
команди,
industrial automation sector, we are
які
welcoming two
працюють
teams
в різних складових
which
надзвичайно
work in different
високотехнологічних,
components,
надзвичайно
high-tech
цікавих і дуже
components, very
інтересних
interesting
процесах.
components.
Я
And well, I
почну
already have to mention their
Отже,
names, so let me do
сьогодні
this.
ми вручаємо інноваційні
So
ваучери
today we are
команді
giving
Мікрол
the
і
innovation
команді
vouchers to the team of
MyTech Plus.
Microl and MyTech
Мікрол,
Plus.
MyTech Plus
Microl,
запам'ятайте
MyTech
ці
Plus,
імена,
please
тому
bear
що,
these names in
тому
your
що
mind
вони покажуть клас.
because
І
they
я
will really
прошу
show you
вас на
great
сцену.
achievements. And let me
Отже,
ask the representatives of the companies to the stage.
пане Богдане,
So, Bogdan,
від імені проекту вручаю цю
on behalf of the
статуетку,
project,
і
let
ми
me give you
прийдемо
the
до вас за
statue,
працею, коли ви закінчите.
and we will come with due diligence to
А
you
тепер
after
можу
your
вам дати
project is
мікрофон
completed. But
для
before that,
того,
let
щоб
me give the
розказати
floor
правду
to
про
you
інноваційні
for you
ваучери.
to share the truth about innovation vouchers.
Дуже хороші ваучери. Рекомендую.
Well, these are great vouchers, really.
Насправді, звичайно, хочу подякувати і
Well, in
Олесі, і
fact,
команді
I would like to express my gratitude to the BRD, the EU, and to the Green Incubator team because we have received this voucher and we produce devices for automation of technological processes. But we understand that we need to sell not just devices, but solutions, in particular the ones related to energy efficiency and energy saving. And this is exactly the field where you invest not that much, but you can get the most. But to make some savings, you need to do the monitoring. So this project is about monitoring, active dynamic monitoring. We don't just see where the money goes, but we manage this money. So we are really grateful to all of you. And well, today we are the beneficiaries of this money, of this grant funding. But we think that the main beneficiary should be Ukraine, and we'll do whatever depends on us in this respect. Glory to Ukraine, glory to heroes. Thank you, Bogdan. So Microl is really a very interesting company, and we hope very much that you will soon start conquering new markets. Greetings once again. Our next company, MyTech Plus company, will join us online. And suppose Microl works in the field of automation of energy management on the part of generation, on the generation side. MyTech works on the consumption side. So, colleagues, how are you? And are you ready to share the information about your current and future achievements? Yes, we are ready. Can you hear us? Well, if you can, if you see a voucher, can you see a voucher? Yes, sure. Who else could it be? So let's move on with the field of automation. What is going to be the essence of your project and what will this voucher do for you? Well, our project is not just for energy efficiency and energy efficient consumption, but also on small generation and storage of heat energy. We have great prospects for that, not just for Ukraine, but for the whole European community. And it is thanks to Climate Innovation Vouchers that our future clients will not just get additional energy efficiency, but they will get something that is very important now. This is energy freedom. And, energy freedom is something really important. This means independence from energy carriers, and it will generally give them a lot of inspiration and enthusiasm. And I would also like to express my gratitude to Green Incubator for this opportunity provided to us to accelerate our work, to boost our work, thanks to Climate Innovation Vouchers. This is the main thing. We really need this driver that would keep pushing us. And we are very happy that we have won this voucher. Thank you. Thank you. And we will definitely come to your place because we like watching the process of implementation of our projects. Thank you. So we have Nova Poshta in Ukraine, so the statue will reach you very soon. But we are moving on, and we are going over to our next block, which is circular economy or circular solutions, or solutions for circular economy. Let's call it that way. And we are going to have another two companies, which are also very interesting. Well, I'm a subjective person, but my impression is that that will be a kind of a revelation for you, a kind of a discovery. So we've got within this blog two perfect teams, and we'll start with the team called Prod Ecologia. Prod Ecologia provides solutions for processing waste. Well, this is a rocket science. Just imagine a fragmenting machine that fragments plastic into small parts, and then there is a special UF lighted scanner, and the AI decodes these fragments, and then just those fragments get into a sorting container, and this happens on an automatic basis. When I heard about this, I was shocked. I was really positively impressed because AI is engaged in helping us get rid of our waste. Colleagues from Protocologia, can you hear me? And are you ready to join us? Yes, good afternoon. I can hear you, but I cannot yet see you. So please, could you have the lady on the screen? Just a second. But it's already great that I can hear you. So, oh, we are happy to see you finally. I'm happy to see you too.
Тому я сьогодні сама за команду.
Well, I'm alone, standing for the whole team today. Uh, yes, I know that they are sick, so we would wish all of you good health. And what would be the use of the Climate
Як ви
Innovation Voucher by Protocol here? Well,
переробки та
as you know, the issue of waste sorting, in particular plastic waste sorting and processing, is a relevant and challenging issue. So we are trying to improve something in this field, and we would like to use this project for production facilities that are dealing with plastic sorting. Was it difficult to go through our screening filters, selection filters, and through our competition stages? Well, you know, every selection process has some tricks and is problematic, but thanks to our teamwork and well-coordinated effort, um, since we have got this voucher, I think we managed to do this. Yes, and I can tell you that um, our Olga Zubchik was very happy because after you made an application, you said that, okay, we have all the videos, all the explanations, everything is fine. So you just made her happy as a team that really applied some scrupulous effort and really followed the instructions for making the applications. How old is your company? Well, Protocologia will be 31 years old this year. And how many countries are you exporting your goods to? More than 32 countries of the world, if I'm not mistaken. More than 32. Yeah, the volume is growing. That's why we are kind of reaching new markets. My impression is that this is the company which is a hidden diamond or emerald. You are staying close to Rivne. No, in the very city of Rivne. Yes, I'm from. I know some emeralds or diamonds from Rivne who which work with huge giant markets, and we don't know anything about them. Okay, so your voucher will soon reach you. Congratulations, greetings, and please give us a chance to be proud of you and to boast of your achievements in the future. Greetings. Thank you. So that was Protocologia, and it is creating solutions, which is software for automatic plastic sorting. And they've already got the necessary platforms, and we are moving on. And we are going to have another highly innovative and a highly courageous company because after it closed a part of its production facilities in the town of Irpin, close to Kiev, it had this renaissance. It increased its volume and started moving forward. This is the Catex company, and Henrik, please join me.
Компанія Catex робить те, що називається
So
неткані.
Catex company is providing non-woven materials, fabric, and it's a pleasure for me to see you here and to know how you are developing, what markets you are entering, and what you further intend to do. Catex provides geomembranes, filtering materials. Catex also produces materials for a number of other applications, starting with construction to healthcare. And Andrei, I would ask you to tell a couple of words about what you're going to do with a voucher. And by the way, congratulations. Yes, please speak to the microphone. Good afternoon. So, as far as the difficulties are concerned, it was not that difficult, the whole process. It was rather very merry, I would say, and joyful in terms of communication, in terms of perception, in terms of sharing our intentions. And this sense of simplicity and joyfulness is born only in the environment of like-minded people who are fighting for a common future in different fronts. Just a couple of words about our project. So this project, well, yesterday we celebrated the World Processing Day, and we actually went to the public space and we got the Reinventex name. Our project has got this name. It has got the equipment, which has been already assembled and is going through the testing. And our project has got the team, the leader, the team is present here. This is Tatiana. And the project, the essence of the project actually lies in the fact that we are going to solve a very important problem, which unfortunately is very much underestimated in many countries. This is processing of textile waste. The EU is very quickly moving towards designing solutions. This problem has not been solved in any country of the world. And for 2 years, we have been working in this direction. And we have seen that this program is going to be important for the competitiveness of our companies and business as such, because new legislative initiatives will be introduced and they will ban import of products to the EU if these products have been produced not using the right ways of handling textile waste. That's why the project is creating the infrastructure for that. Well, what will come out of this fiber? Well, first of all, our ambitious goal is, but we need to still earn money for that or get the funding. We have the ambitious goal to get waste back into the format of textiles. So we are creating such technologies. Today, we are already producing processed textile bags, mattresses, and some other home textile products. So you can support the project just by buying those things like bags, choppers. We will ask you to do this. We will have advertising campaigns. You will hear about us. And thanks to Green Incubator, we've got social networks, social media, but thanks to your support, we will also get fully functioning website where we will keep sharing and showing information. And I think that very important technological task will be solved. Thank you, wishing you good luck, and congratulations to the team.
І наступна наша категорія, ми вже будемо зараз оголошувати. Наступна наша категорія
Okay,
це,
so here comes our next category.
що називається короткою абревіатурою HVAC, а українською трішки довше системи кондиціонування, вентиляції, опалення, здається, все. І відповідно в цій категорії ми маємо двох переможців. Один займається
Some problems with the sound.
теплом, інший холодом, хоча насправді не зовсім коректно. І я зараз маю приємність запросити сюди команду, яка створює українське нове інноваційне рішення для дуже кліматично дружнього комфорту в ваших домівках. Це команда, яка називається Хайстер, яка створює повний цикл виробництва теплових насосів і супутнього обладнання для систем опалення і кондиціонування, і потратить ваучер на те, щоб зробити прошивку для мозку. Але не нашого, а теплового насосу. Прошу! Хайстер є сайт-проектом легендарної компанії Сахара, доволі відомої.
So here we have the legendary company Sahara, which is rather well known in our latitude area. And please share the plans where we can see this. Welcome to everyone. Again, it's probably I will take a stand here. So it's a pleasure for me to be staying among like-minded people, and I'm really happy and grateful to the Green Incubator. Initially, we didn't have the intention that we will get into such a very interesting community of the leaders of best opinions, best ideas, and best technologies in Ukraine. So it's our great pleasure to be here. We have passed due diligence, which was also a highly interesting process. It was a humane approach, right? Yes, but It was so much pleasant that we were trying to um, show Roman and his team some messages, and they really understood us, which was a pleasure for us because heat pump is the product which we're developing in Ukraine. It's not very much popular here, but for the European market, it's solution number one for solving climate, heating, cooling issues, and Ukraine will have to do the same in the future rather soon because we cannot be dependent on natural gas and on the aggressive state. And we need to have our own climate heat weapons to really be independent in this respect. So let me tell a couple of words about the heat pump, which is not just a heat pump. This is our product, which is an engineering solution, a highly complicated and complex one. But our idea and our concept is to make it very, very simple for everyone to be able to use it in a very convenient and simple way. So that's what I actually wanted to share, and I'm ready for your questions. Well, thank you, and let me wish success to you. In fact, I think that heat pumps could be a large part of green recovery and a quick leap to the next phase. Yes, and let me add a couple of words, just a couple of words. There are some daily solutions, everyday solutions, and there are also commercial solutions. And Ukraine is heartily waiting for those solutions to ensure independence of schools, healthcare, institutions, administrative buildings, so everything that needs to stop using natural gas. And that's what we will have in the future. Thank you. And now we are moving on towards cold because cold is also important. Cold in our fridges, in logistics centers. And let me invite the RNC company, which is a Ukrainian producer of cooling equipment, and they want to have this industrial cooling or cool systems, which would be based not on freon but on CO2, and they want to make CO2
Де наші
great
колеги з
again. It's a joke, of course. So, where do we have our colleagues from RMC? So, let's welcome them.
Як вам готувалося до цього моменту?
So, how was it? How were you preparing for this? Well, in fact, I think that this last stage, which is the offline meeting, was very simple for me. I don't know what my colleagues felt, other colleagues felt during that stage, but I felt really comfortable and calm. I'm happy to hear that. And what about the freezing or cooling equipment business? What is the situation with it now? You are from Mykolaiv, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a brave company. And in Mykolaiv, you have the basic processes in place, right? Well, in fact, the situation in Mykolaiv is not that bad, which is good. Business is moving um, forward. It was rather difficult in the first period of time because we had to work from another location. But at the end of 2022, we decided to get back to Mykolaiv and we decided to participate in climate vouchers. Our product is the nature-based agent product, which will help us reduce emissions, in particular emissions of CO2, and reduce the effect of cooling equipment on global warming because modern trends set the requirement for us to really reduce this effect. And our company for more than 7 years has been developing equipment based on natural water agents, and now we're going to produce a new line, or rather develop a new line of our new product, which is called it's compact for retail, and we will try to uh, change to make the transition of those technologies onto natural based components. We mainly work for the Ukrainian market, but we have some projects which have been implemented in Iceland. CO2 projects. And if we speak about ordinary water agents, so we do export to 8 countries of the world. Thank you for your work, and we will be happy if there are any other new opportunities to join your work. And now there comes sector number one. As far as export is concerned, I hope that the situation will keep being the same, having the same prospects. So this is the sector of agro-technologies, and we've got one team. This is the AgroSolum team. Welcome the representatives of this team. And I'm really happy that drone technologies of effective and precise land cultivation are again among the champions in our Climate Innovation Voucher program. So, Andriy, what are your intentions and what are going to be your new achievements? Welcome to everyone. Well, drones can be like this, not the ones, only the ones falling onto your head, but also the ones like this. And we want to have a global franchise for solutions related to land cultivation by drones to become more interesting for end beneficiaries. In particular, those ones who are choosing whether they need to buy a tractor or whether they will buy 2 drones, which will be easy and simple in maintenance. And the core component of franchise is software that, in fact, will combine the CRM program and the program for controlling quality and performance implementation of the very franchise.
Ринки нас оцінять також.
Дякую і
So I
бажаємо
think
вам.
that the global markets will also appreciate this. Thank you and good luck to you. AgroSalon will also show its results and achievements.
Moving the prizes. І ми переходимо ще до двох заключних
And
категорій.
we are moving over to the 2 final categories. So the last but one is water.
У нас є один чемпіон, і ми раді
We've got one champion, and we're happy to have been communicating with this team on several programs for quite a period of time. And now let me invite the team entitled the One Innovation Water Technologies.
щоб воду робити чистою з мінімальною кількістю пластику. Андрію, вітаємо тебе.
And so welcome, colleague.
Ну, я думаю, що ми більш відомі як Meltwater Club. Насправді, можливо, хтось тут чув.
I think that we are better known as Meltwater Club. Maybe you've heard about us because for 8 years we have been dealing with cryo technologies, with the development of this technology. And it
Це так у стартап світ.
was last year that we became a startup. And
Раніше
we
були
kind
знайомі.
of make the breakthrough in
Відчуття,
the
що
market.
тому дуже вдячний за можливість отримати цей грант, який ми використаємо для розробки нового
So we are very happy for the opportunity provided to us with this grant because we will use it for new equipment. Well, it will be for households. So we will be replacing filters. We will be replacing all the systems like osmosis and filtering. We will have more sustainable and much more environmentally friendly system because this system doesn't contain any filters. And they are doing it using cold, and you don't need to throw away the filters. They are just to be replaced. Yes. So good luck to you, Andrei. And what about the market? You know, I like asking this question. Sorry for repeating it too often, but what about the market? Is it Ukraine or the world? We've just come back from the Qatar Web Summit, and we're going to launch our office.
також в нас є партнерство і наші партнери в Литві, де ми будемо також намагатися розвивати.
And also, we have a partner who will work with us for the Scandinavian market, and that was a kind of a revelation for us because we went there to the Nordic summit and we thought that, well, tapped water there is quite nice, but they wanted to learn more about our technologies and they gave money for that. Okay, so good luck to you globally, not just in Ukraine, and please promote this technology in all the markets where water needs to be made of good quality and where they lack water. Thank you. So we are about to complete with the award ceremony, and traditionally, climate innovation vouchers, like everything that is of electric nature and that can be moving. So we once again are coming to the sector of electromobility, and you know that most Ukrainian charging stations contain a component that has been funded by climate innovation vouchers. And we're also working with micromobility and the companies that are charging small movable devices. So now we're going to have two final champions, two final winners, which are Elite and Loas Motors company. So I think that you have heard already about those companies. Elite. In my childhood, I had velik, which means a bike. So I think that velik and elik are very similar words. So this is the company producing electric bikes in Ukraine. So we're happy to see you here. And what are you going to spend this innovation voucher on? Well, we are generally very happy that we have got acquainted with you, and our application was prepared within a short period of time, and we are so happy that we got this interesting experience that actually inspired us for further work, for further new models that, as we hope, will um, help us move on to the European market. And everyone, as a result of that, will be able to have rest and travel with no problems, with no bottlenecks, and no traffic jams. And we want to use the money for rebranding because we would like to probably improve some of our informational skills and reach the European and the global markets in order to help Europe be more mobile and quick. Thank you. And this is the first grantee from Ternopil ever in our history. Yes. Thank you. Good luck to you and best wishes for the whole team. And to conclude, a combination of sustainable mobility with taking care of the people with disability. This is the project that um, is presented by our final today's winner. This is Loas Motors Company. Loas Motors produces and sells compact e-cars, and the essence of the project is to create a solution that will help have zero emissions and at the same time do transportation of people with disabilities. Vadim, Marina, please do come up. We're not going to do due diligence now. We're just going to ask several words, several things about you. Well, first of all, let me congratulate the perfect team of Incubate on the occasion of their 15th anniversary. This is a very good event, very important event, and you're really cool. I've already written it in Facebook, Go Green Together. This is the slogan. And secondly, I would like to express my gratitude to our defenders who are defending us now at the front line. And unfortunately, a lot of them are coming back as disabled people, they with lost limbs, and they don't have freedom of mobility, which is, of course, a very important component of the life of every single person. And we are trying through our project to give back to them this opportunity. And this is also an important social project because these people get an opportunity to work. They can be more mobile and they can be employed as a result of that. And of course, this is an e-car, and nobody can ever tell better about the e-car than Marina Kitina, who is the face of Ukrainian electromobility and who has been popularizing e-cars for many years. And our project is also the project which is she's the main PR lady. I would say the main influence, legendary one. Well, it's good that I'm in blue clothes because otherwise I would have turned red. But I'm really proud of the fact that electromobility first gets into such projects as Green Incubator, and I'm happy that electromobility can win such vouchers because electromobility is the future. No matter how much Roman objects to that, he's Andrei, by the way. Yeah, okay. It's okay that I confuse you. Yeah, I'm already accustomed to that, but uh, sometimes people really call me Andriy. Yeah, I remember your story when you with your brother changed your places and you were called the wrong name. But social range of topics is really relevant now, and the fact that we can combine electromobility in the future um, with the life of the people who will come with disabilities after the war is something that we are focusing on. Now they are caring for us, and we need to care for them in the future. So thanks a lot to all of you, and good luck in everything.
Дякую вашій команді.
Thank you, and thanks to your team.
Питання, насправді найскладніші питання будуть тоді, коли ми будемо
The
говорити про
most
цих
difficult
проєктів.
questions will come during the audit of the project.
Для мене
These have been very simple questions, but it's a great pleasure for me to see that quite many of the companies which become winners are the teams that came to the field of climate innovation vouchers because they previously participated in Green Incubator Academy, and here is Lera, who is the head of this academy, and Climate Launchpad. So these are the ones who passed the whole cycle, and after that we've got stories when the teams were actually created in our presence, and now they're engaging millions of investment.
Would you mind sharing several words from what you've seen? I'm sorry for taking you by surprise,
it's
but
no
I
problem.
just want to ask you your opinion.
It's very broad, the kind of innovation, and a lot of these things that really I was thinking, so this I want to have as well. So that was, I don't know the English word for the warm air pump, but I think that's I very recently installed in my house in Italy. So I wouldn't have mind have a Ukrainian innovation there for sure. So and this electric bike, I really this something I would need. So. And also other things. So I think it's really wide spectrum of innovation, and I'm also happy to see that you're coming from different parts of the country, from Mykolaiv and Rivne and Ternopil, and what we heard as well. So the innovation is happening, and people are using the capacity wherever they are, even if it's closer to the front line. So thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, and thank you for all the involvement, inspiration, and all the support from the European Union colleagues, and the great work you are doing in promoting the Green Deal and also promoting the concept of green transition. We appreciate it very much. Дякую. І традиційно ми ніколи не обмежуємося тим,
And
щоб видати
traditionally, we are never limited to just giving out the vouchers and having some reception. No, we want to share insights, to share knowledge, and we like talking about what comes in the future and what will be developing our future. And traditionally, at our meetings, at our award ceremonies, we're in for a very intense panel discussion with extremely competent people who work in this field, and they will be talking about reinventing Ukraine's economy on the basis of green horizons and green approaches and green innovations. And now it's a pleasure for me to give the floor to 6 highly competent people who can introduce their views, which are very much different from different points of view. So let me invite Svetoslav Pavluk, the chairman of the Association Energy Efficient Cities of Ukraine. Svetoslav was one of the witnesses of the birth of Green Incubator. We could call him an obstetrician who actually took the baby delivery. Well, yeah, please leave the seat for me, and please take your seat somewhere there. It's my pleasure to also invite another good partner and colleague of ours in the field of energy innovations and energy efficiency, Mr. Yuri Fomichov, the mayor of Slavutich. If you do remember it, Slavutich is exactly the town where the first municipal energy cooperative created by Andriy Zinchenko is located. So Andriy Zinchenko was the ideologist behind that project. Yes, this one, this Andriy Zinchenko. Yeah, he will come to the stage, but later. This is Roman. Roman is me. I'm Roman Zinchenko, and he's Andriy Zinchenko. Okay, so it seems that men come first. So let me change the procedure. Let me also invite Natalia Litvin, who is the representative, who is rather the coordinator of the NGO Eco Club projects from Rivne and Coalition Energy Transition. Let me invite Inna Pedluska, deputy head of the International Renaissance Foundation. You know that the International Renaissance Foundation really invests a lot into green transformation projects via NGOs. And let me invite Evelyn Kavala, who is the head of the Sustainability and Energy Security Program in the Embassy of the UK. Evelyn, you're very much welcome. But she seems to be still coming. Is she on her way? She has not yet got registered, right? Okay, so we'll probably wait. She's supposed to join us. And while Evelyn is coming, we will have the last but not the least, the bright mind of innovations, the person who has brought the largest program Seeds of Bravery to Ukraine, which is a 20 million project of supporting innovators, not just climate innovators, but all innovators as such. Svetnenko. Evelyn will not come. Okay. Okay, so we will have 5 speakers. So these are the people who have a very deep view of this sector and a very diverse view of the sector. And let me ask you 4 questions, all in all. And since there is some time discrimination, I want to have long discussions, but my colleagues are not allowing me to have a long discussion. So these are just 4 questions related to green transition and reinvention of Ukraine from the point of view of our making a breakthrough to the new orbits, to reach the new orbits in terms of profit and not even reaching the point of break even. So these questions are brought down to 4 words: people, humans, because this is about skill gaps, new opportunities. This is an important component for Ukraine. Then another word is businesses, because Green Incubator Climate Innovations is all about business, and we consider that the best medicine for climate disaster is green businesses. Markets, the third word, and capital, the fourth word. So I guess, Svetoslav, that you're going to start, or maybe we could rotate. Let's speak about people, about humans. You work in the field of energy efficiency. Yuri has announced that he has the ambition of making Slavutich 100% renewable city. Eco Club is introducing projects of green generation at different municipal facilities. The Renaissance Foundation is researching and supporting green transformation initiatives, and Innovate and Seeds of Bravery are providing capital and funding for those who are startups and who are reaching the new orbit. So what people do we need and how do we teach them for us to be able to um, have this project of reinventing Ukraine in the green sense in the nearest future? Thank you, Raman. So first of all, let me mention that green economy, green transition, green transformation are all the terms that need to be explained, and people need to be included into those initiatives related to green transformations, not just as observers, but as actors, active creators. And first of all, we will have a great need for people because we will have shortage of people after the war. That's for sure. That is the greatest challenge businesses will face after the war. And the other challenge, besides people as a physical phenomena, because we're losing a great number of qualified and competent people, humans who are generators of creative ideas that have left the country, that have gone to the army, that have fallen in the war. So we will face this problem of shortage. And I can already say that the energy manager of the middle rank level, these are normally women, they have, many of them have left for abroad, and we are already facing shortage of stuff. So at the point in time when we settle this issue of security and we are able to talk about active development, the role of business will be important. And, you know, I would like to show the example of Poland. In the conditions of shortage of staff, companies are not asking the government whether they have the permission to bring in foreign experts. They further legalize them in the country, but they don't ask for permission. So probably we will need to somehow promote this localization or legalization of those staff members. And we can really take this example of Poland and even their business model of a city that has started legalizing foreign stuff in Poland. I think that that is something that we should make use of. And at the same time, we need to evade the problem, to prevent the problem which Germans faced after World War II. And it came as a revelation for me. You know, quite often we speak about Ostarbeiters, and well, this didn't realize that Germans create a problem after World War II when there was shortage of staff because they were bringing in people without any planning of their integration into the society. That's why they told that they are Ostarbeiters or Gastarbeiters. It's like guests. They are coming as guests and then they are leaving. And there were some enclaves there of people who don't have a command of German, who are not integrated into the society. So this is the problem they faced, and this is exactly the problem that we are going to face after we bring in stuff. And we need to somehow prevent this problem. And for this, in view, we need to think about their integration into the society and about the rights that they will have and the relationship we will have with them. So to sum it all up, if we speak about humans, we will face problems. We will need to have competent staff, and there will be not many of them. So the toughest competition in the European market is for people, for humans. Uh, some countries don't want to um, let our people go back to Ukraine. Poland has mentioned that they will not promote the return of Ukrainians to Ukraine, and the reason for that is clear. And some other countries may follow this example, so we will have shortage of staff. But I expect that, and I hope that the Ukrainian government and Ukrainian business primarily will be wise enough, even in times of war. This business manages to find good people, good technologies. It develops interesting projects with top technologies. And I hope that Ukrainian business is really wise enough and it will find a way to do this. But again, as far as the place for working with migrants as resources, it is there. It's like a vacancy. We can work in this direction. Thank you. It's a really very important task. And you know, when we are talking about people, about the human dimension, I'm thinking about another point. And let me tell one thing about Slavutich you probably don't know of. Slavutich has got the branch of Kyiv Polytechnic Institute in the territory of this town. So Yuri, Slavutich, well, seemingly this is a town which is hidden somewhere in the woods of Chernihiv region, and it has already passed a number of challenges as far as staff shortage is concerned. The first wave came when Chernobyl NPP stopped being in operation, but now you have announced an ambitious plan. You have said that in 10 years, Slavut will be 100% RES. And I think that human dimension is also important for you for the implementation of this project. So if yes, then if it's relevant, how are you going to tackle this challenge? Thank you. First of all, thank you for inviting me. I've heard several times from you today that I'm proud of those who won the vouchers. So I'm proud of staying together with you and with Green Incubator today. And by the way, I would like to congratulate Green Incubator on the occasion of its 15th anniversary. I think that we need to applaud to Green Incubator once again. And here is another point. I can see some growth because we had our first meeting and we were talking about reinventing atomic energy and or the towns with nuclear power plants. And well, it's really true that Ukraine has already changed. It will never be like it used to be before 2024, the 24th of February. We've got occupied territories, we've got territories at the front line, it's just pure hell. Well, there are some borderline areas, frontier areas with also a lot of challenges. And of course, not everyone is ready to come to the territory, which is 8 kilometers from the Belarus border. So we have some relocated business. We've got Lviv, the city of Lviv, which has become the city which is a millionaire. But I don't know whether the mayor is happy about that because that brings about new challenges. But we are all going to change. All the cities and towns are going to change. And this internal fight for humans will be critical. But we will have to compete in between ourselves, and we will also have to compete with the Western world. Because the Western world has seen what our people are like and they will not let them go. So we don't have a unique answer as to how this can be done very quickly, how people could be returned to Ukrainian cities and towns. Slavutage, well, all those who are above the age of 36 are IDPs. Um, we are the town of migrants. And the people who still keep coming, it's more like 1,500 people. Well, I hope that they will stay with us forever. Yes, they are willing to go to their homes, but well, we are facing objective reality and it will be very difficult for them to really do this. It's all overwhelming, but we try to create the reality for them to stay in. And I don't like this IDP, the abbreviation, which is rather rigid. We call them new residents of Slavutic. So for those new residents of Slavutic, we are trying to create the reality which would be comfortable for them. And still, a new town is a new town. And it seems to me that a person coming into a new town needs, first of all, accommodation, at least for the initial period of stay. And he or she needs to understand what his or her accommodation is going to be in the future. Also, these people need some social provision because most probably they have come from some frontline areas, and we need to provide for basic social needs like children going to kindergartens or schools. People need to meet their basic needs, and then comes the economy and jobs, employment. So these three pillars are the pillars on which every single town and city is based by when involving new people. And when we're talking about repowering Slavutic and this town that in 10 years is expected to be fully fed by renewable energy sources, we understand that this has to be done by people, trained, well-trained people, but it's already our willingness to train them, and I will probably tell you more about this later when we discuss economy. But this is something that people should do. Your projects are great, your technologies are great, but it's all people who are behind those technologies. So there should be accommodation, social provision, comfortable conditions of living, and economic growth like jobs and certain economic guarantees for every single person. I guess that this is the formula of successful return of Ukrainians to Ukrainian towns and cities, and then it will all come. We will be developing green economy, and I will tell about this in the next block. Thank you. We are also happy that we have such long-standing cooperation with Slavutic. We are happy that we have such great friends. And here is my question to Natalia. In your portfolio, I guess you have more than 40 implemented projects, if I'm not mistaken. And these are the projects related to renewable energy in municipal facilities. Yes, 11 solar power plants were installed last year, and we intend to have 35 installed this year. So you've got a specific batch of implemented projects. And again, it's about the issue of human skills. What human skills do you now lack? What are the signals that you would like to send to the field of education or to the people who are uh, job hunters or who are actually talent searchers? So how can the situation with you be characterized? Well, thank you for the question. And I would like to make a short introduction here and to answer this question on the basis of the experience of our organization in wartime. So we work with the local self-government bodies, and I would like to draw your attention to the issue of raising the qualifications of managers locally, of administrators locally. Their role is now much more important because of decentralization. So, among other things, we are working with them on solar power stations for water utility companies, for public institutions, for healthcare facilities, because that's something that already beneficial for them both for heating and for energy supply. And, some things seem to be obvious for us now, but they didn't seem so obvious a couple of years ago. So sorry if my conclusions seem to be rather trivial, but we want to share these conclusions with you. So the first question that we need to find the answer to is what specifically you're going to do if you're given $1 million? A very simple question, but from our experience of cooperation, we can see that many Ukrainians locally don't have an obvious answer to this question. So let me give a short example, and I will then go over to the direct answer to the question about qualifications. So let's have a look at the water utility companies. This is the structured facility that is providing critical services. And in wartime, we have come to understand that these are great customers and great clients for the energy consumption field. And sometimes solar power stations can help water utility companies work for a certain period of time, and the community will get certain benefits from that. So we started doing feasibility studies for such projects, and it appeared first that if we want to answer the question, what technology would be the best one, well, it's very difficult to find the answer to this question. We don't know whether it's better to buy diesel generators or to install SPPs or, well, this is an example of the question where we already now have come to understand what technologies we should develop, design, and replicate. We spent too much time on finding answers to such questions. So here, using the occasion, I would like to say that we have one reference point, one slogan that says that it's important that when you're implementing your innovations, you have the plans which presuppose engagement of local self-government bodies in raising their capacity for introducing those innovations. Because it's really true that there is shortage of competent staff in local self-government bodies, and the problem is that it's difficult to design and implement innovative solutions locally. But if there is a solution, the probability that it will be implemented becomes, of course, higher. So this is maybe a little bit simplistic approach or simplistic wording. And I would also like to mention pilot projects. This is something that really works, and there we are learning by doing, and innovative um, examples of some communities inspire other communities. So that's what my message would be. Thank you, Natalia, and let me right away follow up with the slogan of yours, and let me give the floor to Inna Pitluiska. Decentralization and raising capacity. So my impression is that these are not alien words for your Renaissance Foundation.
З точки зору донорської спільноти, яким чином можна
So from the point of view of the donor community, how can we actually support this staff shortage, or rather solving this problem for green transformation to become possible? Well, that embraces a couple of questions. Thank you. You know, every year, any award ceremony comes for me as a source of inspiration. So, first of all, let me express my gratitude to you for holding this ceremony. And any year when I need to recall something that is already living its new independent life and that keeps inspiring us, I can always recall your program.
Це частина фундації відкритого суспільства, заснований Джорджем
So
Соросом.
our Renaissance Foundation is a part of the Open Society, and it was launched by George Soros 33 years ago. Over this period, we have supported a lot of things, and some of them are related to decentralization, to human capital, to climate, to environment. Of course, this is just a part of our work, but I would like to tell about our project with Swedish partners, with the support of the Swedish people. It's like 90% of funding coming from the Swedish people and a little bit coming from us. So this is initiative on the development of environmental policy and advocacy, and we've been working with the EU for several years. We have got the European Renaissance of Ukraine initiative, a program, and a lot of the things you have just mentioned are covered within that program because Ukraine is going to join the EU. We have no doubt about that. Therefore, Ukraine will undertake great commitments, in particular the ones related to development and protection of its environment. People are really the main asset. That's something that has already been mentioned here a number of times. And that's absolutely the right idea that we need to start with thinking on how we could support people in their striving to live in the European Ukraine. First of all, we need to support them in their striving for victory. At every forum, we mention that Ukrainian victory and everything needed for that is important. Otherwise, there will be no environment and there will be no us. But we also need to support the striving of people to live in environmentally friendly country that is guided by the rule of law, where every voice can be heard and where human dignity is protected. So that's what it really matters for us, and we structure our work around those principles and approaches. My colleagues have already mentioned today how important it is for people to have skills and how important it is to deliver trainings for the people who will be able to create this new value, those new ideas, to introduce those innovations. Human capital is really the greatest asset. But
Натхнення, знань.
that's because we have the combination of human dimension and the dimension of technologies, and your program, Climate Innovation Vouchers, actually brings together these two components. But in this country, we need to have enough innovators, people who really have some breakthrough ideas, the people who have the capacity to bring those ideas into life as projects, which is not always the same, and the people are not always the same that are doing the first and the former and the latter. But we need a circular or green market scientists. Roman is just laughing because I was talking about those circular managers or um, circular chief masters, but the whole system should actually be based on inspiring, on creating those people who would be foremen, like circular foremen, and when there is funding from every, well, it's a pleasure for every donor. Suppose we speak about decentralization, just a couple of words to mention this respect. Well, probably I don't feel comfortable about talking about this after the mayor of Slavutic, because Slavutic used to be one of our partners about 20 years ago when e-governance was just being introduced in Ukraine, and I'm really so happy to see that you are still at the front line in this respect, in respect of innovative approaches. People live in cities and towns, they live in communities, and we work a lot with communities because we are the donor organizations, civil society organizations, donor and citizen donors or community residents donor. So we want our programs to provide a boost for communities to generate new ideas. We want new initiatives to be launched in the communities, and then these initiatives could be replicated and could be implemented using some business tools. We could also work with the donor-funded or state-funded projects, and I think that we're going to talk about this finance as well today. So decentralization, as for me, is one of the most successful reforms that have ever taken place in Ukraine, one of the most resilient and sustainable reforms in Ukraine. And it's so much successful and resilient because people made it like this. People who really want their community, city, village, town to be favorable and friendly to people, and they want to invest in this way in their future. Probably it has sounded a little bit pathetically, but that's it. For you not to have any doubt concerning how you can talk about decentralization after Yuri, the mayor of Slavutage, let me remind you about the role of the IRF. Um, you remember 2016, and the International Renaissance Foundation announced the Energy Heroes project, which is our internal name, but we saved some money and engaged another donor, which is the Konrad Adenauer Stiftung. And by the way, we have here colleagues from Konrad Adenauer Stiftung. And we went on an advocacy campaign to the Netherlands, and we published the book, The City of Startups. Probably you have seen and read this book. And we also produced a movie called Here We Have Life. This is the movie about the initiatives of having renaissance of Slavutage and the Chernobyl area. And this movie became the foundation for a lot of our further initiatives. So it's fine. Your contribution really works well many years after you make it. So thanks a lot. And since we have started talking about startups, I think that Sviatoslav Sitnenko is the best person to talk on that topic. And within your system of coordinates, people are founders. You work with founders. So don't you feel that there is some shortage of founders of startups in all sectors, not just in green economy? Well, thank you, Roman. Well, first of all, 15 years. That's great. So congratulations to you, Andrei, and to the whole Green Incubator team. Now, concerning the issue of people, I don't see any problem with people. My friend has just come from Berlin. She's building a startup there, and she has said that when we have a look at German businessmen and founders, they are lagging behind Ukrainian ones from the point of view of vision, approaches. And she also said one interesting thing that our founders are stubborn and persistent, but German founders staying in other markets, they are more relaxed. They work in different modes. And I think that this is a very good competitive edge for us and for the alumni of your programs. Another point I would like to mention is that it's not people who are important, it's relationship between people who are important. And it's important to really have those startups around businessmen and founders. Ukraine is now on the radar. It's in the focus of attention, and you've just mentioned that you have had a record number of applications which for this program, which shows once again that there are many interesting ideas, many interesting companies. And well, of course, you need to select the best ones, but all in all, you can see that business technological business is one of the fields that is becoming more and more interesting for people in Ukraine. And finally, let me also mention that the opportunities popping up are quite often for the early phase. And there are the so-called valleys of death at this initial phase, which we need to somehow bridge using different tools, using the funding that is provided by you, by Ukrainian state, financial institutions, and the project Saving Bravery, Seeds of Bravery that you've mentioned. So thanks to the European Commission, you can get those grants, and definitely green industries and climate innovation vouchers are in the focus of attention. So I think that we have a major common task to create the programs for the people, current businessmen and promising new businessmen to find it easier to move on. They need to use the opportunities provided by us and built up by our international partners. And I think that the next 15 years of Green Incubator will be perfect, terrific years for this. So my task for the next 15 years is actually to grow my hair, right? And to be innovative in this respect. Okay, thank you for answering the second question. And let us go over right away to the second question. So I have the producer whispering into my ear that it should be only 3 minutes for the answers. So I will have to be this evil timekeeper now. So the next issue is business. Green Incubator is a civil society organization which is pro-business organization because we think that the best way to fight poverty is to create wealth. And there is no better way to create wealth than do business. So when we are talking about those tasks of green transformation, green reinvention, and you also have something to do with this segment, give us a signal. What kind of businesses you're looking for? What kind of businesses you need to really meet those needs for energy efficiency, for green transformation of cities and towns, for construction of generations, for successful decentralization, for launching more startups, which would be green startups. Please, just 3 minutes for each of you. Well, it seems to me that there are some uncertainties in terms of security, and they become a little bit more clearly delineated when we have a look at this European Green Deal, which determines the highway, the vector of our movement, and the vector for investment of all countries around us over the next 20, 30 years. And this creates new green markets of green technologies, both for cities, municipalities, for infrastructure, for transport, which supplies some resources to cities. They also affect energy that will be used by cities and towns. So everything that refers to city planning, to urban city planning or spatial planning, everything that refers to new energy systems or new municipal infrastructure, starting with water and ending up with heat, transport, and other things, all these things will require new skills, new approaches, and there will be a great need for them. Let me also mention that once I saw a good post with one of my friends, which wrote that the investor was choosing a city to invest a very large amount of money, like 1.5 million euros. So the basic things the investor relied on was availability of school with English language of teaching, because he wanted to bring in new staff and they needed a school or a kindergarten to give their children to. So from the point of the family, they could come there and get accommodated there. So it seems to me that this is a really relevant component. And I would also like to voice some other of my jotted down things of my notes. We need high quality data to ensure development of communities of cities. We need data about energy, about infrastructure, about energy resources, about RES. And now the planning we have, well, normally is based on the data which is not accurate. So I think that if a city manages to collect the right data, we'll be able to better build a strategy. If you have data, you can engage good people for the interpretation of this data, and then you can create better conditions for businesses and move on. That's it. Thank you, Yuri. Well, let me follow up with what Sviatoslav said. He mentioned a very important notion, Green Deal. It seems to me that we are now in such situation, that there is a drought in the village and everybody comes to pray for rain. And just one girl came with an umbrella because she really believed that they would pray and she would need an umbrella because it would be raining. It seems to me that we have not yet taken our umbrella, though we have got the invitation to the EU. So we are launching the negotiations on accession to the EU. But Green Deal for us is somewhere there. But if we are really preparing for that, that's something that we should live with because green economy and the EU are equal things. And our business should be getting ready for this. And we are looking for the businesses that are ready to enter green economy markets. That's really important for communities. And it seems to me that this is the major chance for Ukrainian communities to think about the future while engaging some investment. If we don't have green industrial parks, we will never engage powerful investment. We experienced the stoppage of Chernobyl NPP and the loss of 8,000 jobs for 20,000 people, for the town with 20,000 people of population. It's awful. So now we need to think about investment that will be relevant for us after we join the EU and that will not lose their sales markets, both inside Ukraine and outside it. And for the municipalities, the challenge is really very substantial. Slavutic is very active in engaging different projects, and over the recent 20 years, I guess we have implemented more than 60 grant projects in our town, including the ones related to green energy, energy efficiency. But now all these things need to be exported, and we are not ready to do this. And to exploit this, and we need business that can work with us, cooperate with us, but we somehow cannot tolerate this competition because of low salaries, because of the pressure exerted on businesses by controlling regulatory authorities if they're working with public funding. We need brave businesses who are ready to overcome all those problems, and instead we are ready to offer fair and transparent relationship. And when we get back to human capital, the best project we're looking for money for is business residence, which is a large building, 10,000 square meters, not just for accommodation purposes, but for having your own business in that facility. So such projects help us engage businesses, but in return, we expect that those businesses will cooperate with the communities in spite of all the risks. So Slavutic is creating its own unit city. We have colleagues from Unit City present here. Okay, thank you, Natalia. What about your ambitions? What kind of businesses do you need to fulfill your ambitions? Let me give a brief answer. During our consultations with the communities, we really face the problem of access to data. This topic is raised very often because communities are developing their strategies and they need to understand what their priority is going to be and they need to rely on some data, but most of the data is closed. And suppose in the field of energy, we have consultations with local councils and they claim that they cannot get some energy data to generally make any calculations and decide what solutions they have to implement. So what are the fields that we need to develop? These are energy efficiency, construction of energy efficient buildings. This is also RAS, waste management projects, and of course, water projects. And also, I would like to say that when we're talking about renewable energies, it's very difficult to hold those trainings because now we have got self-training in terms of installation of solar power plants, and it's rather difficult because if we take sectoral companies, they have their own courses, but we are not competent managers of such projects, and we just want to coordinate the work, but otherwise we also have to have those trainings. But that's something that we really need badly because of green transition. And well, maybe that will not happen in several years, but in some decades, communities will solve energy efficient solutions, and their first decision, their first priority will be RES. Okay, now let me then speak on another point. If we are talking about access to data.
Чи є інструменти зараз?
And we have now some tools?
У нас є
Well,
величезна
let me rephrase
стаття
it.
різних
We have
посередників в тому, щоб
a
зрозуміти
number of different mediators
поведіння
on our way to understanding parameters of behavior in energy consumption and other indicators.
якихось спеціалізованих дослідницьких структур.
Is it a matter for some specialized research institutions, or is it just the one for the communities? How do we do this training, or how do we do preparation of projects? Well, I'll probably add a couple of words to what I said, but then Svetoslav will speak. So, for example, if we have consultations with Zhytomyr City Council and other large cities, they claim that it's difficult to get any data from a company, and we have the law on local self-government with some provisions there, but I don't think that there is direct control in place and that all the provisions are complied with. And it's also not possible to get data from private sector. But if we're talking about some strategies, we need this data. So the communities will offer a simplified solution when the ministry should collect the data and give this data in a closed format to the community to be used. Let me just add to what has been mentioned. So most of our data is not available, not because it's not available, but because nobody knows that he or she needs the data. The data should not be collected when you're in the process of doing the planning. You need to collect the data before that, while you're working with this data. And most of the strategic planning process in studies were just fake processes. They did not really intend to give any outcome. That's why the data used by them was mainly fictitious. And that's why we don't have a lot of data on different parameters of municipal services, energy. The data was not collected because nobody thought that this data could ever be necessary. There were no processes where this data would be required.
Змінилася ситуація. Нарешті Міністерство регіонального
The
розвитку
situation's finally changed, and the Ministry of Regional Development today, following the law on energy efficiency, has made public the draft by law on the municipal energy data, and in the annex, we have the benchmarking regulation with a set of data the cities are supposed to collect. And, well, it's probably not worded in the right way, and it's strange when the director of the kindergarten is asked what the overall area of the kindergarten is, what is rather the percentage of this kindergarten in the overall area of public buildings of the city. Well, it's not his business, right? What kind of process do you want to really describe that he needs to know? Not the area, but the percentage. And this is the requirement coming from the ministry. So it's rather strange. How am I going to use this data? So there are a lot of strange things in that law and by law, but at least something is already being done. The ice has been broken. We will start collecting the data. We will start analyzing them. We will understand that we are applying the wrong approach to data collection, but at least we have started doing something in this respect. Thank you. And let me get back to businesses. Yeah, Natalia, just a very quick comment. Yes, a very quick comment. I've just thought that when we were developing the methodology for municipal energy plans and the data was collected over 10 years, and the communities mentioned that there was some transformation in the communities and a lot of data got lost. Yeah, we are really facing that problem. So we need to think it over how we could keep on working with that. Yes, Inna, but let's still get back to the issue of business. How can we launch the business environment that we need for this green reinvention? Yeah, we have already mentioned what businesses can be launched, but how to launch them is a special, a different issue. Out of my short list, my colleagues have already mentioned some things like waste processing, waste management. It's a really important issue. Otherwise, we're going to have just waste in the cities and nothing else. I think that all those living in cities are facing this problem from time to time, and the situation is not going to become easier. So I was happy to hear that such projects are supported. Also, sustainable agribusiness, which is environmental foodstuffs. And this is something that we are talking about, like food security, food sustainability. And that is rather the issue of global security. And Ukraine can really contribute to solving this problem. But again, it's a very tough issue. And it will have to be faced in the course of Ukraine's accession to the EU. But it requires a separate discussion in terms of how we can get ready for that process. Well, data has been mentioned. I will not follow up with this topic, but anyway, business is a kind of an enabler for making it possible for other businesses to do something. I'm talking about the consulting business, in particular consultants in energy efficiency and green transition matters, consultants in data processing and data collection, experts in project management. So there is quite a space for working here to achieve ESG, environmental, social, and governance principles, which are very important principles for us, in particular for green projects and green initiatives. We would rather support as civil society organizations those businesses that are working with communities, helping them to develop their efficient strategies. And one of the components of this work is the capacity to do project management, project design, to do monitoring, which is quite a share of work, but it's also a wide market that is now being widely opened in Ukraine, in particular in the context of recovery, that we need to make green and inclusive, and the one that would move Ukraine towards its future membership of the EU. And the people who work in that field need to really show us how we could regularly make some measurements that are important for us. So that is something that is important in the class. This cluster of business is important because without it, a lot of other businesses will not have the tools required for their development. Well, I'll probably leave an opportunity for somebody else to speak. Yes, Svetoslav, and have you now heard the request or the inquiry? For example, if you speak to future founders, have you heard about the business opportunities which can now be used by startups, by those who start piloting some projects? Have you heard it? As a person who generally supports all
Дивись, я
seed
коли
business.
говорю про рішення, якщо чесно, вони мені значно менш цікаві, ніж якраз бізнес-можливості і ринки. І
Well, these
тут є,
solutions are not that important for me, but there is good and bad news here. When we're talking about the market of energy, there is a number of problems in the world that are quite often similar.
величезна кількість фаундерів, підприємців по всьому світу. Але є і хороша новина,
These are the problems that everyone wants to solve. But there are also a number of problems that we need to solve. This means that quite an amount of money and quite many markets, quite many clients are there in the world. And it's up to us and our businessmen as to how we could create solutions that contain any innovations to be competitive in the global market. Obviously, when we're talking about recovery and the opportunities open up now, businesses try to settle local problems with an assumption that then they will replicate it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's at least obvious that we need to fall in love with problems and not solutions, and then we will design proper solutions. The other thing is also about innovations and
якщо вона не працює на ринку. В той же час, коли ми говоримо про інновації, то
innovation by itself is not a precious and valuable thing in the market, but when it is supported by innovation technologies and products, that's a completely different thing.
знову ж таки, ще одна хороша новина. Коли ми дивимося на європейські стартапи, то одні з найбільших стартапів – це компанії з цієї галузі. Тому що це є потреба як і в B2C ринках, в B2B ринках. Величезний простір для того, щоб створювати нові
Sorry
цікаві
for
рішення.
the technical problems. No
Прошу не
sound.
відкладати мікрофон і перейдемо зразу до
So
нашого
businessmen can actually work on those problems.
Тобто наступне питання це ринки. Ринки, зелені
Yeah,
рішення,
let's
зелені
get
інновації.
down to our next question. And the next question is about the markets. Markets, green innovations. What kind of markets are
Це
those?
до всіх зразу. Але я буду тут зараз цензурувати і просити вписатися в 1 хвилину, тому що режисерський голос зараз почне мені підказувати.
Глобальні.
Глобальні. Окей, супер компактно.
Ні, очевидно, що коли ми говоримо про побудову великого бізнесу, на маленькому ринку ти його не збудуєш. Да, очевидно, коли ми говоримо про локальні ринки, де є величезна залежність від кількох гравців, не може бути sustainable з точки зору бізнес-моделей бізнесів наприкінці дня. Тому очевидно, те, що ми завжди шукаємо, те, що ми завжди рекомендуємо, це з першого дня свого бізнесу фокусуватись на ринках, де є твій клієнт. Як правило, ми закликаємо до того, що це глобальні ринки. І там якраз є ті можливості, які найбільш цікаві. Там є капітал, там є можливості для розвитку і швидкого зростання.
Ти лише мені наступне питання. Я його ще не задав, ти вже побіг на нього відповідати. Дякую, але дякую, що ти анонсував. Інно.
Залежить. Тобто, очевидно, є речі, які надаються для локального ринку. Також ми дуже хотілося б бачити, як саме на ринок України приходять компанії, які бачать тут свою перспективу, які бачать тут можливості для зростання, для розвитку. Може,
We are
згадували
talking about the opportunities for
Україну.
development, and
Ринків.
we have already mentioned recovery and rebuilding of Ukraine, reconstruction. And in this respect, Ukraine is one of the most promising markets. That's why the products that are now being developed with due account of the green recovery goals will be in demand. Well, of course, we are talking here about global ambition, which is great. And when the business sees this capacity, this opportunity to go beyond its domestic market, it always keeps inspiring not only us as the facilitators of this process, but also it inspires other businesses. But the local level definitely should not be forgotten. And in this specific case, we are a large country, so our national domestic market is rather large, and we have a lot of needs. You can, by the way, read the Rapid Damage and Needs Assessment report.
Світовий банк разом з Європейською
The World Bank has just made it public together with EU and with the government of Ukraine. And this report contains a very long list of things that have been destroyed and that need to be restored. What are the figures? More than trillion or less? Well, it depends on your calculations. Okay, clear, Natalia? Still, markets for Ukrainian green innovators. Where are they the largest and the most interesting from the point of view of what you can see? Well, I'd like to probably say that now we could integrate new technologies in traditional sectors, and we can see examples like this, like critical infrastructure equipped with solar power plants. But we've also got a unique experience of solving energy problems in the times of crisis and operation of systems in different fields during blackouts and power outages. So that is also the field where we could share our experience, and we have developed new approaches to installing new systems at critical infrastructure facilities. And why are we talking about new markets? Because just a moment, because I've jotted down one idea and I want to voice it. So the more such new technologies are created by us, the higher the demand becomes, and that's the way their market or componentry of spare parts of labor is created in that way. Thank you. What about Slavutich? Are you working for the domestic market or for export? What are your greatest prospects? Let me be concise. I'll be patriotic. I'm inviting everyone to local markets because we have already heard today that there is a great need for processing, particularly waste processing. Seems to me that this is number one that we are supposed to work on. It's also green recovery. We're talking about green solutions, about climate solutions, and today Ukraine could be this pilot project. You have heard today a number of times this expression pilot project, and it's really great to be in the global market, but we have to start with pilot projects and we have to be patriotic people. We are ready to offer ourselves at the state, as the municipalities, um, in the capacity of customers for you, for your cool solutions. Because let's take the issue of green recovery and waste processing. This is something on our agenda. And I'm ready to cooperate today with you on the plastic sorting. And I'm ready to buy solutions based on heat pumps when we're talking about energy transition for cities. So our Ukrainian market is ready and open for green innovations. I don't know whether we have funding for that, but I think that we are going to discuss this in the next round of Power Panel. It's just a spoiler coming from the mayor that definitely we do have funding, and I'm in favor of local markets as a starting point for entering global markets. Thank you. Well, it's difficult for me to make any forecast, but it seems to me that domestic market is very large, taking into account the fact that every second day in one of the capitals of the EU, a conference dedicated to the recovery of Ukraine is taking place, and a lot of companies claim that we can do this for you, we can do this for you. So the capacity of the internal market is going to be really huge. But now it's not that huge because of the war, but when we have the security certainty, their volume will really see a boost. So from the point of view of getting some achievements, some developments, when we create some startups and ideas in the domestic market, and then we may try to replicate them in the global market, and then we can again take them back to Ukraine and to work with them there. I've also paid attention to the issue of competition because Europeans have access to public funding and to launched technologies, and of course they will kind of pressurize us with this experience and the scale. And you remember this problem with grain on the border, problem with electricity. So again, we have got connected to ENSO-E. We made an agreement. We are happy because we have joined this European network. But for export, we have 550 the throughput capacity, and for import we have 3 times more. So they want to sell something to us, and we don't have a chance to sell anything to European market, and we are going to face this in everything. And my final questions, but again, I ask you to start. It's not just about money, but where is the money? Where is the money for green transformation? And I will be asking you to be very specific and answer within just 1 minute. Well, first of all, we do have the money, and the second part of my question will be that I can be talking about Seas of Bravery, which is the project where we are engaged as one of the partners. This is the EU-funded project, and we can give actually up to 60,000 euros to startups based in Ukraine, founded by Ukrainians. And we have also a number of non-financial, like acceleration innovation programs, where we can help with consultations, training, expertise for businessmen, besides having access to small amounts of money and then probably larger amounts of money, would have access to the skills that will help them develop quicker. And we hope that your startups and the companies present here will also apply, and we will have more of those people, carbon miners and relief officers. Where is the money? In the bank, probably in different banks, in IFIs. Well, they all have this green finance section. And well, it seems to me that this is um, something that is really important. The ability, the skill to work with international money that could be accessible for Ukrainian studies, for Ukraine as a state. This is a no easy task, but first of all, there is a lot of funding, and this funding is accessible. This is the money also from the private sector. It was it will be in June that another conference on recovery and reconstruction of Ukraine, which is the annual conference, Ukraine Recovery Conference, will take place. Last year it was in London, and we heard here there how important is this possibility of engaging a private sector, because it's very sensitive and open to innovations, technologies, in particular green technologies, green recovery. We know that one of our pillars for this year in Berlin, this is green transition, and in Berlin, I hope that we will have an even better talk with private investors about different sectors where investment could reach Ukraine. And I guess that green recovery is going to be one of the core topics of that discussion. Another part of the question, well, the EU supports private business, SMEs, because it's there that startups are launched. So thanks to the EU, we have more and more of this funding available for Ukraine already as the candidate state. Well, these programs are not that simple. They are very different, and I've heard different feedbacks on how difficult it is to work with those programs, but they are developing, and that is the money that you can get. Then Ukraine Facility, the program for supporting Ukraine, you have all heard about 50 billion for 4 years, and this is the mid-term development program for developing resilience, economic growth, and economic capacity of Ukraine. And it will also contain some opportunities for accessing funding for the municipalities and for private sector. In particular, you know that the government of Ukraine has developed the Ukraine plan, and it will be the day after tomorrow that we will finally see this plan. Before that, we have had several reiterations of this plan, but we have never heard it in full. And this plan contains the green section, green recovery section, and the plan aims to implement the relevant reforms and to create the um, favorable investment climate, because we could be talking a lot about money, but without this climate, we won't have this money. And also another point is access to funding. As far as donors are concerned, they can actually fund startups, but the impact of investment is a great topic that somehow is slowly developed in Ukraine. But again, there are many reasons for that, but we're working on that. And I know that Green Incubator is working on that, and other donors are also working on that. These are the donors who support innovations, who support Ukrainian private sector. They are also thinking about impact investment, and I hope that we will have a chance to still discuss it and to think it over. And one more thing, if I may, I would like to ask something. Well, I cannot argue with you, so I would just like to mention the state
Хтось про неї сказав.
decarbonization program.
Поки що не готовий говорити на цю тему.
Maybe somebody can comment on that program.
Випадку, чи треба переформатовувати питання, а де ви берете гроші, чи де ви знаєте?
You need to reformat the question. Well, probably we'll tackle this question late. And now, please, Natalia, concerning the previous question. Well, I would provide my own view because I work in a narrower field. Suppose when we were having a look at the energy strategy until 2050, there are some plans for carbon neutrality and energy transformation. And we hope very much for Ukrainian and foreign private investment. But Ukraine facility has been just mentioned, and I would like to add that in Ukraine, the central authorities really want to have a major impact. And when we had a look at the previous recovery plan, which was prepared for Lugano, the impression was that all the main decisions and all the funding would come from, to and from the presidential office. And we had a discussion with communities saying that probably in Ukraine, we also need to pay attention to the subsidiarity principle, according to which we should have the bottom to top hierarchy of decision making, and all the issues that can be efficiently solved locally should be within the mandate of local self-government. So the money should reach localities, and that should be aimed at the development of communities. Thank you. I've already mentioned that there is money. Money is there. Yeah, I like your approach. I like this slogan of yours repeated from the previous speaker, and I will prove that money is there because our town fundraised 9 million euros last year the 4 different municipality projects. The budget of the city of the town is 300,000 hryvnias, and you can see what the amount of fundraising was. So we are ready to be partners for your great, cool decisions. Just offer those decision solutions to us, and we will be looking for the money to implement those solutions. And that really works. You need to know to learn how to work with money. You need to develop those skills. And even if you take the Mariupol, the business relocated from Mariupol to Slavutic has raised several thousand dollars via USAID, and they have taken this money for development. So give your offers, give your ideas as far as green technologies and green recovery, waste processing are concerned. And together with you, we will be looking for the money because really we have enough. Well, and before I give the floor to Sviatoslav Pavlyuk to answer this question, I'd like to mention that when I speak about the Association Energy Efficient Cities of Ukraine to some of our foreign partners, I always claim that in Ukraine we have networks of municipalities of cities, but energy efficient cities is the most capable network in terms of decarbonization and not only. Well, thank you for your kind words. I'll try not to be carbon based. I'll try to be more positive now, not black in and not pessimistic in my speech. I'm always talking about cities in the context of recovery because upgrading, refurbishment of municipal infrastructure would be a great driver for many chains of businesses. Municipal projects will engage energy engineers, chemists, and other stuff. So if cities can fund some projects, the future of businesses in those cities will be good. The conference last week on the European Green Deal and the cities in Brussels, and actually Yuri was present there. Um, I was just listening to it online because I didn't have a chance to go. But they said there that great refurbishment of one city for it to become climate neutral is about 3.6 billion investment just per one city. Just the heating system takes, if based on heat pumps, it's about 1 billion, transport 1.6, and the other infrastructural facilities also take quite a lot of money. So if we cannot guarantee this investment from the point of view of the state, we need to just allow business to enter those markets, but it's all about the tariff then. And while we have subsidized or regulated tariffs and fees in Ukraine, business will not enter this domain and we will have problems. So the issue of green recovery for me means kind of stopping regulation of this market and stopping giving subsidies. We need to give an opportunity to business to optimize this process. Otherwise, we will reach a dead end. There will always be a problem. And I think that at this stage, we will finally understand that we don't have the necessary amounts of money to really become climate neutral and to have this infrastructure in place. Well, there are the cities that have been heavily damaged in the east, so I think that we should give more money to them. But there are also cities in the west that could be using credit programs and not grant funding, so I think it will be fair. Thank you. Thank you, dear panelists. And the voice in my mind is already saying we still have time for just two or maximum three absolutely quick questions from the audience, which means that suppose any of you wants to voice some questions to this concentration of intelligence, raise your hands and we will give the mic to you. Okay, I can already see one hand.
Поцупив мікрофон, а у вас їх там два.
Well, sorry, you have another mic. Let me take this one.
Наш проект
So the question is as follows. Our project for textile waste processing presupposes some insulation materials for construction as a result of our production process. And another interesting solution is like green roofs, because roofs can be also insulated with those materials. So, how do we reach cities and towns? Where are those progressive cities and towns that are ready to become pilot projects in this respect? Well, do come to us. You have already reached us. Yeah, and I saw that there was another hand, but just a small recommendation for you. Besides reaching cities, you also need to reach the designers and the project managers for them to include your technologies into their projects, and then that will work. And how are, how are we going to work simultaneously on solar panels and roof roofs? Well, first we will make them green, and then we will raise the panels, and everything will be good. They do not have any conflict. They are kind of a complement to each other. Well, sorry, I have to be clear. So it's Yulia, and then Alexei, and then Alina. And that will be it. Thank you, colleagues. I'm really happy to see all of you, so many professionals. And I
Але не
like the
сподобалося те,
question
що
about the
не в
money.
плані якість відповідей, а те, що, напевно, немає достатньо інформації або впевненості констатувати, де тут держава.
Well,
Тому що ми поговорили, що гроші дає ЄС.
where is the role of the state? Because you have mentioned that the money is given by banks, private investors, the EU, but probably this is external foreign assistance. So Inna has mentioned some facts that, but can we really count on some state programs? It's more a question to Svetoslav and to people who have got experience in the funding of energy projects and programs. What do you think about the capacity of state support for developing respective energy decentralization programs as a result of energy
Я
efficiency and RES?
передам слово на відповідь. А репліка буде дуже проста. В минулому році з муніципалітетів забрали так зване військове ПДФО. Я думаю, що багато хто з вас
Unfortunately, there is some problem with sound.
сплачували ці
So
кошти.
let me have a quick remark.
Їх забрали ці кошти.
And probably I will give the floor to Svetoslav because he's the main expert in the field.
Але сьогодні я кажу так, це зробили правильно. Тому що країна сьогодні в війні. Держава сьогодні на війні. Це маємо враховувати, тому ми і
So
пропагандуємо
we have some
зовнішні. Тому що держава сьогодні на війні. Це треба розуміти.
Два коментарі тут. Перший, якщо говорити про державне фінансування, нагадаю, що фонд енергоефективності, який є єдиним інструментом діючим, він не фінансується третій рік. От вам відповідь. Та й там, в принципі, сума невелика. А друга річ, те, що в міст забрали ПДФО, різко обвалило бюджети розвитку міст. І це означає, що погодження запозичення міжнародного закордонного...
Well, if we speak about foreign capital, about loans provided by IFIs, that is secured by the Ministry of Finance will also not work because we have got the situation when the Ministry of Finance approved some project for funding because they are kind of eligible from this point of view of symmetrical range, but they cannot be funded because the budgets of development for cities fell down, and this amount of borrowings of loans is somehow connected to this budget. Well, I think that we don't need such lump sums. We need to get those amounts gradually, step by step, because some of the processes that are launched now will need funding only in some 3 or 2 years. So we need to have some financial planning in place. And I think that the chances for getting European funding are much higher in the next budget period, because these 50 billion is something that the EU managed to find in between the 7-year budgetary period. So let's hope that we will somehow cope with that. But we can only expect more money from the EU after 2027 in the new budget period. All right, Alexei, Alim, and we will take one more question from Zoom, and we'll be for them. Alexei Rabchin, well, as the person coordinating the work on Ukraine facility, I'm really grateful for mentioning it. And really, this program includes money for business, but it hasn't got enough for some future things, because it's just something that is dedicated to European integration. But as a researcher of green recovery, my question to panelists, I would like to ask the panelists, what is meant by green recovery? What are the indicators? What are the metrics? Because when we're talking about green recovery in the EU, they mean that there should be reduction in CO2. But with us, when we read Green Recovery Lugano plans, this is the number of windmills that you have installed, or when we mention the principle build better. In the US, they think that you are supporting Biden because it's their slogan in the pre-election campaign in response to one of the slogans by Trump. So, which was "Make America better." So, how do we report? How are we accountable for the money that we are given, showing that this is really green money? Well, you are actually giving some prompts, but in the next panel, you are going to be the facilitator. Okay, you have mentioned cities, and this is a very wide issue, and we understand that if we start giving full answer to this question, it will be rather long. But to speak briefly, our markers for green recovery are very simple. In 10 years, we need to become a climate neutral city or town. This is our green recovery marker, and I think that this is the best one. And year 2050 should have this market for everyone. Okay, let me just add that when we launched a discussion with the Ministry of Infrastructure about municipal energy planning, we always asked why. Why is this plan being developed? To do what? Why do we need this plan? And all the planning that we have been ever doing in cities and towns was about supporting the system in the, so to say, living conditions, was not about development. But we analyzed the experience of other countries like Germany and Switzerland, and their goal is to really achieve climate neutrality of the city and town. So if we accept this as the end point, all the planning would be clear, and we will be clear about the tools we have to use to reach that point. We are now having a Horizon project with our partners from many countries. It's about certification of green buildings in the country. So green is not only about energy efficiency, it's also about spatial planning, it's about city infrastructure, it's about inclusion of systems that are integrated nature. It's not just about specific facilities.
Це про загалом комплексне планування і
It's about
інтегрованість
comprehensive planning and integration of all the components for the sake of achieving this climate neutrality.
Європейської зеленої угоди вже
If
поширюється
we
на це.
take into account the fact that the requirements of the European Green Deal are already valid for us because we are going towards the EU.
Дякую. Аліно, прошу.
Thank you. Ali.
Щоб всіх бачити одночасно. Вітаю всіх. По-перше,
Well, let me face the audience. So first of all, let me congratulate Green Incubator because I've been staying with you since the first event. Yeah, it was Tesla Camp in the open field. And back then, Green Incubator showed energy and power in deeds, in action. I can see many familiar faces whom I saw back then. So first of all, my congratulations to you, and let me express my gratitude to a lot of the professionals who are staying here for such a great subject matter discussion. My question is about education. We have a lot of things to be proud of, and that's what I would like to stress. But on the other hand, it's well, you know, the horizons is looming, but it's also close to us. So my question is to the participants, what changes would you like to have in the lifelong education from kindergarten to the infinity from the point of view of green mindset? Green thinking in the positive sense, the green transformation, because I think that it should start from childhood. And the other one is upskilling and reskilling, because we know that many professions become irrelevant for many reasons. So we need this upskilling and reskilling. And the third question is about the new mindset of businesses in terms of the sectors that will be in demand. So questions are about lifelong learning, about the changes that are now relevant from the point of view of vocational education, what skills need to be developed.
Підприємництва, як
And the third question is how to cultivate this green mindset, green and digital transition mindset, I would say, because if we multiply digital skills and green technology, I think that we may even get a better effect. So I would ask any of you to answer those questions. So who is going to take those questions? Yes, I'm Alena Sevastюкова, Ukraine. Sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. I can see, Inna, that you're willing to take the question, to take the mic. Yes? I will start. Thank you for this question about education. Um, we partially touched upon it when we were talking about human capital, but I would think about reforming teaching education. So the education of teachers, of those who teach others and inspire others, because that's about the culture, it's about the mindset, the attitude to innovations, to science, to the environment. And definitely there would be a lot to work on in this respect. Well, I'm not sure that we can really mention all the programs that work in this respect, but anyway, we need to have technologies at some basic level back at school education. It would even be better not to have this basic level of technology, but to make use of access to digital technologies and to information. That would be much simpler. I've just looked recently at on the things that we have on YouTube, like in podcasts at university courses. So there are a lot of things, and I'm not sure that we need to additionally create some courses. Maybe we need to have them adapted to Ukraine. Well, this is also the language of the issue of language, but education is about the matter of attitude, goal setting, and understanding of the fact that we cannot know all information. We just need to know where to find this information. So it should be education for educators. This is one of the things we should be talking about. It seems to me that side by side with your office, there is the Academy of Teaching Sciences. No? No. But we do have such an academy, definitely so. I would like to add a couple of things on education. Another important aspect, which is frequently left out, is the relationship, the feedback in the society. We lack some gratitude for the work done. And it seems to me that this gratitude, when lacking, results in the situation when some professions are not popular because, well, nobody is grateful for them. Suppose people working in municipal institutions are always stealing, they're bad. In water utility companies, they're also bad. The road workers are also stealing. So there is some attitude, culture of treatment and gratitude. And if the society does not have this attitude of gratitude to teachers, well, there will be no remuneration coming with that. So it seems to me that this is a um, reciprocal process. And since we're often talking about teaching, about the system of education, well, it seems to me that the main thing here is this gratitude, culture of gratitude. So it needs to be developed. It is not the issues that is raised in mass media, but it should. Just in brief, because I just
Питання поставив. Я зрозумів, що ні. Тут
thought that Alexei will come with a criteria of green recovery and green reconstruction. But this is, well, a wide, a broad issue. So how do we change the mindset in the society? Well, this would be actually the question, right? That should be the way we should rephrase this question. How do we change the mindset in the society as far as green transition is concerned? Because it should just be considered not just vital, but it's our life. And I can tell you from my own experience that what we practiced in Slavutich within one of the projects actually showed that the easy thing is to start working with children, with kindergartens. I call it the McDonald's principle. When a child gets in the game format some knowledge about green economy, about green technologies, very simple things about LED lamps, and then the child comes home and asks, "Why don't we have a LED lamp?" And the father goes to the shop and buys a new LED lamp instead of the old luminescent fluorescent lamps. So this is the McDonald's principle because children come with their parents to McDonald's, they bring their parents, and the parents bring their children. So I think that mindset should be changed from the beginning, from childhood. And here is another quick recommendation for business: how business could become green in the future. I think that we just need to ask a question whether we intend to have our business in 10 years, because in 10 years business should be green. So if you want to have your business in 10 years, just do it and think it over how you can achieve this stage. uh, it should not be the approach like, well, let me wait, I will see how it goes. No, you need to start working in this respect already now. And let me remind you that we are waiting for rain to come, so we must take this umbrella. We want to be full-fledged members of the EU. We've got this chance and we're going to move forward. We have to do this. Thank you. Natalia also has a remark. Yeah, just a quick remark. When we are talking about environmental consciousness or mindset, it consists of education and wealthiness. We have touched upon education, but as far as money is concerned, we won't have better environmental conscience until we have more payments for this. So we have two people in Zoom, and colleagues, just be very brief. Two questions right away altogether. I can see Mr. Olifirenko, if I'm not mistaken. So your question, but please be quick. Yeah, I will be very quick. So first of all, congratulations, Roman, on the occasion of the anniversary. Let me congratulate the winners. Yeah, it's a pleasure to listen to about those projects. And I would suggest um, that I remember you promised and Yuri promised 5 years ago uh, to come to our exhibition center in Kyiv. And by the way, Roman, you have already visited our center because we now have a lot of interesting know-hows on display there. And we have a lot of solutions, more than 50 offers related to energy efficiency and energy saving. We don't have any solutions like this in the world. So we accept the invitation. Thank you. Yes, let me just invite you to our exhibition center. Thank you. We will. We will. Thank you. I will come again. Okay, and then the next question. Good afternoon. I'm Ivan Pushechnikov, the founder of the Solid Biofuel Community. So we know that European organizations are eager to finance the implementation of their European technologies in Ukraine, and these will be technologies based on their products. And they are also ready to ensure some development, but within the EU. So are they also ready to invest into new innovative in evolutionary products that are being developed in Ukraine and that can be tested as pilot projects in Ukraine? Thank you. Well, as far as I understand, that is a question to me, Ivan. So my impression is that it's already for 7 years, since 2017, this has been happening. So we are really grateful to our European colleagues because this selection initiative has always been selecting the best. And we will be happy to welcome you at the next phases of our project. So let's go over it again to questions from the audience. I can see questions from Vadim. Please be quick because again we are pressed for time. So Vadim, be quick. Yeah, I would just to reorient you a little bit because we have been talking for quite a long period of time, and I always keep hearing where are we going to take the money? Who's going to give money? the question is, how will Ukraine help Ukraine for Europe to be how Ukraine is going to help Europe for Europe to be chasing Ukraine and not for Ukraine to be asking for the money? Well, I feel that the money is already at the back because if someone provides some efficient solutions, they will earn money. So I think that our beauty field in Europe has shown that it could be different, and this is the example of how make Europe chase us. Just a brief answer. Any other answer?
Дякую, Вадиме. Прошу.
Що можна? Добрий день, я представлюся. Кронда Ольга, начальник
Thank you,
департаменту.
Vadim. I'm Kronda Olha, the head of the Department of Innovations Development, Ukrainian National Office on Intellectual Property and Innovations. We are an absolutely new organization after we have been reformed. And my question is, we can see a lot of problems with development of intellectual property, in particular in connection to the problem of innovation. So this lack of education, of awareness, and the fact that we are trying to debunk this stereotype, this myth, intangible assets are about 40-60% in Europe, but we don't have this data. So we would like to increase the role and the value of intangible assets. And what do you think is your role in this? Because green energy is important in this. So how can you actually, how can our companies achieve better progress both in Ukraine and in Europe? Well, thank you. Well, I was supposed to be a good timekeeper, but you actually provided a good question for the wrap-up. So who's going to take this question? Well, I'm just looking at you, but I think that colleagues will probably also add something. Yeah, let me start. I think that we see from the point of view of businesses, the EU and the world, that by default, they have intellectual property protection in place. But with us, we need to tell about this, to explain why this is important and what additional opportunities this could bring up. So it's great that we have the new institutions that are dealing with this issue. Let me wish good luck to you in this respect. Definitely. Let me also join you because it's important to work on intellectual property protection, and it's also important to make this issue relevant for businesses, to make them aware of this issue, for them to be motivated to communicate with you and to discuss the issue of intellectual property and protection under the legislation. Well, as far as Ukrainian municipalities are concerned, we could act as pilot platforms for the implementation of those innovations, and then you are supposed to work with businesses, and we will just support you. So if everyone is commenting, let me also comment. So we have been talking on where it's easier for green businesses to work, be it in Ukraine or in the EU. And it seems to me that the very fact that these rights are protected there, I mean, intellectual property rights are protected, it's safer to work there and it's easier to work there. And this is one of the criteria, one of the aspects. So if this is not protected, if this area is not protected, our businesses will work there and not in Ukraine. Well, I probably don't remember the exact statistics, but it seems to me that 15 or 20% of components funded by climate innovation vouchers are related to IP protection, to patenting, and mainly abroad. Good. Friends, colleagues, let me say that I would ask you to express a gratitude to this concentration of ideas and intelligence and dedication, because we have known these people for quite a long period of time, and they are doing really what they should do. They are ensure some continuity, and they are very persistent in this work. So let's run well together. And in fact, we are going over to the concluding remarks. But before that, I promised to tell you a funny story from the life of Green Incubator, but maybe we'll do it during the reception, or, well, well, just come here, Андрій.
Так. Роман Зінченко.
Це Роман Зінченко, Андрій Зінь.
Для тих, хто прийшов трошки пізніше, в нас є старий мем про те,
So
що
those who have come a little bit late should know that we have an old story of how you can make distinction between the Zinchenko brothers, which we are. So I hope that you don't mind, you don't actually deny that the fact that 15 years ago, me and Andriy invented and established this incubator, but over those 15 years, what discovery on this way, what has have you had on this way?
Слухай, це дуже дивне питання.
Well, it's a
тому
very strange
що
question.
Мені, от якщо уявити собі, що
Because
грінкубатор
if I try to make a certain image of Green Incubator,
канонічною,
well,
але
it may seem to be unconventional, but you
і
have probably
іноді
watched the cartoon Rick and Morty, and
нагадує
sometimes Green Incubator is the resemblance of a series of Rick and Morty. Which one do you mean?
напевне ту серію, де Рік і Морті випадково стикаються з планетою, де живуть змії, і потім вони
maybe
слухають зміїний джаз і випадково
The
запускають на тій
one,
планеті, власне,
the episode when Rick and Morty accidentally came across the planet where snakes or dragons live, or maybe dragons, yes. But if we speak seriously on that matter, I would say that I don't have any answer to your question, because the greatest thing that I have understood for myself recently is the idea that, as they say in Massachusetts Technology Institute, they normally say that all models are not right, but some of them are useful. And it seems to me Green Incubator has existed in a number of models, in so many models, and it's really difficult to surprise me with something. It was all strange by itself. You know, we founded our Green Incubator as a pirate ship. We were the initiative of swindlers, so to say. We were kind of a pirate ship. Well, the banks, but okay, let it be pirates. Yeah, and okay, let it be a pirate ship that was conquered by punks. And here is Mr. Kolasnik, who was one of us. Now he looks very official, but back then he was helping us organize our first Tesla camp, that was energy camp. And when this ship started going and being re-equipped on the way, and it became one of the ships of the Royal Navy when we started working with the EBRD. So the initiative that was purely NGO-based, it was purely alternative and unconventional, started gaining some institutional weight, and it changed. So this transformation was really something that looked very strange, and that's why I cannot single out what has been the strangest thing on that way. Let me also tell the way it looks for some of our colleagues. I think that many of you know Natalia Kacar-Budkovska, and in the energy sector, she used to work and is working, and I hope will still work and do a lot of interesting things. So one day, after all those parties and initiatives that we had, I came to a birthday party of Yannick Murillo. I brought a bouquet of flowers, and Natalia had a look at me with her eyes broadened, saying, what has happened? You can wear a suit? And she told me that she had always seen me only in the green incubator shirt, t-shirt. So on the one hand, she said about this, but on the other hand, there were people who just saw me in suits. What about the very name? What is the origin of this name? Well, the origin was invented or coined. No, it was not actually coined. I set the requirement related for this name. No, you coined this name. Back then, I thought that the name should be only in Ukrainian, and I still think that the announcement in subway in English is wrong. But incubator is a good Ukrainian word. Yes, yes, from one of the regions and used in literature quite often, right? But since I didn't coin any name that would appeal to me and would be better, so I agreed to the screen incubator name, and I understood the logic behind that. At certain stage, we came to realize that everything that you entitled, that you name with a nice foreign word, will have better prospects in Ukraine. And by the way, here the question was asked about our entering Europe. So definitely we will need to somehow adjust to their branding to be a success, to be clear for the global markets. But I think that Ukrainians are good at it. So Roman coined the name. We had a long discussion, and then I agreed. Yes, there was a requirement that by morning, if we don't invent the name, we leave incubator. That was the morning of the 19th of March, and in eBay we were supposed to have a presentation of our project at the Ukrainian Belgium Day. So we came there, and it was agreed that if we don't coin the name, we leave the incubator. So we had to reshape a lot of documents to introduce the name. And Alexander Krzyżanowski, who was representative of Schneider Electric, and he is now the commander of one of the units of the armed forces of Ukraine, and some other people saw the way it happened. So in this segment, we also have Sasha Baklanova, who helps us with the determination of our strategy. And one of the important points of our strategy, which was born there, is labeled or is dubbed as pride. And being proud for the sector, for the country, is a very good thing. And if we speak about the projects that have been implemented over these 15 years, what are you most proud of? Just have a look at that from the point of view of legacy. I will not be talking about legacy. What I liked in particular, and I don't think that I'm going to share a secret, but I've been helping Incubata for over the recent year or 2 years. I've been actually working also in other entities. And what I like is that I came here today and I saw a lot of people without whom this organization would not have survived. These are the people who helped at different stages, and I'm really grateful to all those people who are very much diverse, but they're all professionals. And, I don't want to think that much about legacy, but, I would like to mention that today I've seen a number of new companies, and I didn't have any idea that they exist. And you're asking me about the matter of my pride. I'm probably proud of the project Сонячне Місто or the solar town. It's not quite the Green Incubators project, but we also contributed a lot to the implementation of this project. And now when I see that there are some absolute new things, I like this. Why did I mention this project, Solar Town? Because during the war, it appeared to be a sustainable organization. They paid dividends, they bought military bonds and then sold them, paid dividends. So this model proved to be resilient and sustainable. And it's a pleasure for me to see that the Green Incubators model shows its sustainability and resilience with the renewed team. Without me, they still have very good results, cool results that I like. For example, I've already taken the context from those from the company designing heat pumps. So I hope that when I build my house, I will probably install one there. So I like the appearance of new companies because, well, I'm seemingly watching this sector, monitoring, but I always come to learn about some new things, about some new companies. Let me quote one of the writers who said that climate vouchers deprived me of snobism. Of course, I rephrased this quotation. So I thought that actually we will know almost three-fourths of those who will come to this program, but the very first try showed us that it's the wrong approach, that there are a lot of new champions whom you don't know, so you shouldn't be that snobistic. And we have already mentioned here the first events, the first activities. Do you remember the budget of the first energy camp? Well, it was 600 hryvnias. It was so much as for two people who were unemployed. So that was quite an amount for us. I don't remember what the overall budget was because a lot of people were involved in that, and a lot of people were helping us with some tables, desks, chairs. But really, the budget was very small as for now. It all started with a different currency. It was the currency of partnership, cooperation, collaboration, and the effort of our partners and friends. And this is the currency, this is the coin that operates a different budget. And this currency is still here. We are exchanging this currency. Yeah, I'm sorry for interrupting. I would like to say that this was called the Vagabond Christmas carol singer style. But everybody came to like this. The core thing is as follows. I would like to express my gratitude to all of you here, to all of you watching our broadcast, to all of you who used to support us, who has been asking tough questions, who keeps supporting us, who keeps providing ideas, who has even been angry with us. These 15 years are all about our joint effort. Um, we wouldn't have done it with our modest, humble effort. And this is all thanks to the joint effort of a very great community, interesting and brilliant community. Thanks a lot to all of you. So, colleagues watching us online, thanks a lot. Now we will stop our broadcast, but we will keep communicating here informally, offline. And here is another important point. We will have another series of online meetings with memories, with ideas, funny stories, anecdotes from the life of incubators, Green Incubator. We will speak about this period of 15 years and we will talk about our other plans. And once again, let me express my gratitude to everyone and in particular to our team, Lera, who is always showing me that I need to stop. Lera, she is also the commander of our educational projects and Green Incubator Academy. Tarka, the voice of communication with a focus of international components. Uh, Ola Yermak with us in our broadcast. She also deals with communications. Oksana, please come here. I can anyway hear into my headset. Our content and digital component, our super alumnus Ksenia, who is formerly not in our team, but she gets engaged in all the work. Olha Zubchik, Green Beta team climate voucher coordinator. And we also have Katya. Yes, Katya. Katya, super designer. Thank you, Katya. I would like to take the floor and to once again express our gratitude to all the online viewers. We are so grateful to you for joining us, even in the online format, even while staying in the remote mode. Olha, you are the star of our today's event because thanks to you again, a lot of interesting champions have appeared this year. And please apply for Green Incubator Academy, Climate Lot Bench, and definitely sit. But I would also ask everyone to stay here and on your seats, at your seats for a minute, because this team is really so much grateful to you for the fact that 15 years ago you brought such an interesting idea into life. And this is the idea which was good for all of us. So here are some symbolic gifts from the whole team. It's very simple, but we hope that you will really come to like it and appreciate it. Wow.
Ну, також в мене є друге прохання, шановні колеги, які...
I also have another request. Please, dear colleagues who are the beneficiaries, please don't leave as yet. Danilo, our cameraman, has arranged a special place for each of you to make portrait photos. And the participants in the audience can also follow Danilo, our cameraman, but step by step, not everyone at a time. And I would ask Irina Hobarets to join us for the picture if you're still in the room. Yes, I can see you. I would ask you to take one joint picture of our team.
Можете фон поміняти?
Окей, це ж...
Будь ласка.
Probably we should do it in a different background.
Зробіть щось.
Давайте тоді цим.
Should we be seated or should we remain standing?
Фотографії, будь ласка.
Oh, it's up to you. Please, you may get seated and you may still be standing.
Дякую. А тепер, будь ласка, всі бенефіціари, пані Ірино і засновники. Всі на сцену, всі решта. Ми потрошку з вами
all beneficiaries, Irina and the founders, please all come to the stage, and all the others, please start moving to the reception, and let's have some informal communication there. Thank you.